So BBC News has released an article on 23rd October 2025 titled Gen Z Rising Why Young Indians Aren't Taking to the Streets. So the author of this articles are Sautik Biswas and Andrika Pantheon. And this title fascinated me, so I was like, why not read it? India's Gen Z is vast, restless, and hyper-connected. More than 370 million people under 25, nearly a quarter of the country's population. Smartphones, social media keep them constantly informed about politics, corruption, and inequality. Yet taking to the streets feels risky and remote. Fear of being branded anti-national, religion and caste divides, economic pressure, and sense that their actions may have a little impact on the weight heavily. Elsewhere in Asia and Africa, the same cohort, Generation Z, those who roughly between 1997 to 2012, has been anything but quite recently. In Nepal, young protesters brought down government in just 48 hours last month. In Madagascar, a youth-led movement toppled its leader. Frustrated Indonesians worried about jobs forced concessions from the government after protests against rising living costs, corruption and inequality. And in Bangladesh, anger over job quotas and corruption brought regime last year. Coordinated through encrypted apps and amplified by social media. These uprisings are moving fast, decentralized and frustrated over political corruption and cronyism. In India, there have been faint sparks of discontent. In September, the disrupted Himalayan region of Ladakh saw violent clashes between police protesters and demanding statehood for the territory. Pretending activist So Mongchu to describe the unrest as a sign of a Gen Z frenzy and long suppressed anger. The mood found an echo in national politics. Main opposition Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi embarked on X that Gen Z youth will prevent vote fraud and save the constitution. Came after he publicly alleged large-scale electoral irregulations in the state of Karnataka. In response, in the regional unrest, particularly in Nepal uprising, Delhi's police chief has reportedly instructed his force to draw up contingency plans for potential youth-led demonstration in the capital. Online, the debate is raging and deeply divided. Some users on Reddit and X have urged that India's youth to stage a similar protest at home. Others, recalling the violence in Nepal's upfield, warns against the romanticizing leaderless revolts. Fact-checking outlet Boom Life describes an online pattern within the generation itself. One side views the demonstration as a legitimate call for justice, the other suspects foreign manipulation. From the anti-Indira Gandhi protest of the mid-70s to recent camps movements, India's student activism has captured attention, yet experts remain skeptical and it could be unseated in the central government like in Nepal or Bangladesh. One reason is that India's Gen Z is fragmented. Like the religion appears, many are disillusioned by jobless corruption and inequality. Yet their anger frets around the local issues, making it unified national movement unlikely. I don't see a single force uniting us, says 26-year-old Vipul Kumar, a journalist from Bihar. Power in India is so much decentralized than in Nepal, so is the anger of its youth. While I want federal government to be challenged, many young people want more government jobs. This is the one of the reasons why Sudhanshu Kaushik of the Center of the Youth Policy believes India will remain an outlier when it comes to Gen Z revolution. Age is not just an differentiator. In India, young people are also strongly allied with regional linguistic and caste identity, which often put them in odds with one another. If Gen Z uprising occurs in India, would it be Dalit Gen Z, urban or Tamil speaking? The truth is that we are far too diverse. Gen Z communities with a different intersecting interests. Mr. Kaushik, a youth activist and author of a book of Indian youth says, in other words, this means that urban youth might rally around issues like job opportunities and city infrastructure. Dalit ones remain untouchable by India hierarchical caste system. Youth around the caste discrimination and social justice, and Tamil-speaking youth around language, digital lights over local traditions. Also triggers vary in Gujarat and Haryana states. Youth from some socially and economically dominant communities have protested for increased affirmative action, while in Tamil Nadu, young people have taken to the streets against the court ruling banning Jallikattu, a traditional pole taming sport. Layered on top of these divisions in another barrier, the fear of being branded. Anti-national leaders, even the most aware, connected young people to the street. From Daria Chaudhary, a 23-year-old political science graduate in India, that label is often deployed by some politician and television anchors to discredit dissent. It doesn't help that some of the country's top universities, once vibrant hubs of the political debate, now restrict or ban protest. This institution, once centers for the anti-national government activism, have lost that spirit, says 20-year-old researcher Hazara Najim. Recognizing that youth energy persists, the government claims to make India's youth a policy priority, seeking to channel their energy through schemes and outreach. Yet economic pressure shape many of their life choices. As Mr. Kaushik says, notes, India is generally doing a little better than the world when it comes to economy. That being said, anxiety continues to grow. Young people are taking things into their own hands, with mitigation abroad increasing year after year. India's young are not voting with much enthusiasm. Only 18% of 18-year-old registered themselves as voters for the 2024 election. A new survey by the Citizen Media platform found trust in traditional politics, warning 29% of young Indians avoid it altogether. Mr. Kaushik notes that in recent decades, many young Indians have increasingly defined themselves through religion, cultural, and linguistic identities. Not surprisingly, a post election survey by CSDC Lokniti found ruling Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) retaining a strong youth backing, with 40% support in 2019, only with a marginal decline in 2024. To be sure, the roots of the Gen Z political awareness run deeper, shaped by the decade of the street movements they witnessed as a teenager. The older among them watched as teenagers the massive street movements of the 2010s, from Anna Hazare anti-corruption protest to the mass demonstration over 2012 Delhi gang rape. Later, students participated in major campus and street protests in 2019, including against the revocation of the Kashmir autonomy from farm reform laws, and most notably controversial citizen law. The protest against the Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA), largely driven by the Gen Z, were among the significant of them, but not without any cost. In 2019, Delhi protests at Jamma Milana Islamia and Aligarh Muslim University led to violent clashes after police stormed the campuses. Student leader Umar Khalid was arrested and remains in jail for 5 years later, accused but denying his role as key conspirator in the Delhi 2019 Delhi riots. The government has demonized protests to such an extent, few people even think protesting, says Jatin Jha, a 26-year-old youth fellow with the State of Bank of India. The government claims it was only protecting the law order while protecting the protest as influenced by the outside forces and anti-national elements. This neutral engagement may also reflect a deeper generational trend. A sociologist, Dipankar Gupta, notes youth energy is fleeting and each generation tends to forge its own cause rather than its inherit the old ones. Recent history shows a pattern. Youth can topple regimes, but lasting change or improved prospects of young people can often remain exclusive from the Arab Spring to Bangladesh or perhaps Nepal. For now, India's Gen Z seem to be watchful than rebellious, their dissent subdued, but their aspirations unmistakably clear. Wow, I really like this article. Give your opinions on this article in the comments.